Hi there, and welcome to Gems of Wisdom with Teresa Maron. We have gemstones and crystals, chakras and shamans, experts to delight you with ahas and amens. The Conscious Collective is growing by caring. Join us and add your voice to the sharing.
Dr. Gibson, this is Teresa Maron. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Gibson.
And I'd like to just explain a little bit about our show today. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Mitchell Gibson, who is a clairvoyant medical expert, and he will be visiting Houston, Texas, February 23rd in 2013. That's coming up in about a week and a half. And our beautiful visionary, Joan Jefferson, is in charge of the event. So, Joan, I'd like to start with you today. What was your vision for this event? How did this come into being, a reality?
Oh, it came into being when I read, Dr. Gibson's first book, The Living Soul. My initial reaction was that I just had to meet this person. I just hoped that they were still alive. And just in this past year, my husband and I have had the pleasure and the honor of working with Dr. Gibson and his wife, and it's just literally changed our lives in so many ways. And so we just had a desire from our heart to, bring him to Houston to share the knowledge that he has and the experience he has with the city. And it was a gift, actually. And I'm the person that does not, as I've always said, I don't even arrange a dinner party for 4.
I know.
So this is something that was really, I just felt very, very compelled. And I'm so happy that we're bringing him here. It's going to be such a privilege, to introduce them and have him speak. And everybody's going to see a major difference, a big shift in their lives. And that's what I love about the work that they do.
What kind of people do you think would most benefit from this level of energetic instruction?
I think anybody seeking more awareness, more consciousness, just enlightenment, just to get to the next level, to find out more about yourself.
Maybe we could get some inspiration and to give yourself a real energetic boost.
I would say so. I would absolutely say that.
Now, I heard there's people coming to this event from as far away as Spain.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
That is very
true.
Impressive. Very, very impressive. And here we are in Houston, Texas. How would I be able to get tickets, Joan?
Just go to dragonflystrategy.com. Everything's
Wonderful.
on that website. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and there's also a Facebook page, and it's the address of that is Dr. Mitchell Gibson Live in Houston. And it's interesting to see all the posts from different people all over who are interacting on the Facebook page, the fan page, about this event.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, I would like to formally introduce Dr. Mitchell Gibson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Go right ahead.
All right. Well, your background is very traditional. You started in traditional medicine. I was wondering if you could share with our listeners what that transition was like, and if there was one or a specific event that really spurred you to open up into the clairvoyant medical field.
I used to run a medical center in Arizona called Camelback Behavioral Health Center, and I am board certified. I had a hospital with about 30 doctors that I was chief medical officer for, and I did that for a number of years. Actually, I was elected 1 year out of residency. And I also then bought a clinic that I ran for the better part of 15 years. But during that time, I started to have pretty significant visions. And at first, I thought there was something wrong. I went and got an MRI, and I went and got a bunch of neurological tests, and they said, you're healthy. You don't have a brain tumor. You're fine. And the visions quite often turned out to be true. And it was not unlike what you would see in Hollywood or in a movie, where you can't tell if you're in a dream or if you're awake, but they can happen while I was sitting talking with people. They happen while I was driving. They happen, sometimes they wake me up from sleep. And I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know what it meant to have a vision. Sometimes it would last for as long as an hour. And over time, I learned that the visions were instructive, and I eventually learned exactly where they were coming from. And they happened a number of years before I became brave enough to actually share them with some of the people who were part of the vision. I remember the first person that was part of a vision was a person who was a very wealthy insurance person in Arizona, and he had asked me about some property he wanted to buy in another country. And I told him he was going to have some problems with the property and exactly what the problems would be and what he needed to do to sidestep the problems, and he did, and it saved him the better part of $5 million on the deal. I said, this could be useful. And then there was another client that I had who was a professional athlete. And the athlete, I won't give you his name because you would know him, I told him that you're going to have an injury during a certain game in a certain city, and you should avoid this player because this player is going to try to hurt you. And he didn't listen, and sure enough, he had the injury to his thigh by that player, and he came back and said, okay, what else do you have for me? And from that time, I have gained a clientele from many different parts of the world and in Hollywood of people who want me to look into the future for them and advise them about their lives and livelihood. I also then learned that there were a number of instruments that had been created that allow doctors, if you're open-minded enough, to look into a client's energy, to look into their bodies, to look into their consciousness, and to advise them about their health in a way, same way that you can with an MRI or an X-ray or an echocardiogram, etc. And that's why we call it clairvoyant medicine. We use energy to examine our clients and to also advise them about their health and their world.
That is fascinating. And what are you going to be sharing with us in Houston at your workshop?
Well, most people have heard of the aura, but most people have never seen it. One of the things that tends to be most fascinating for people is seeing what the energy around them looks like. And everybody's aura is different. No two auras are the same. So when people see that, it's really fascinating for them. And what's doubly fascinating is you can often see faces of people who have passed on that you know in your aura.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
We were doing a seminar once in New York, and this lady came up, and she put her hand on the aura machine, and there were about 3 or 4 people who had died in the last couple of years. That their faces popped up, and everybody could see them. And she just started crying. She said, I know this person and this one and this one. And it was life-changing for her because she had never seen anything like that. She had no idea that they were there. She had no idea that the faces, the people had attached to her. She didn't know people could do that after they passed. And that's just one of the many hundreds of life-changing things we've had. There was one client we had when we did a seminar in High Point where an object appeared in their aura, and the person wanted to know, what is this object? And I talked about it a little bit, and I said, wait a minute. We had this object. We had it for sale on our case, and sure enough, it was an object that the person was looking for that we had in our case that they didn't know we had.
That is amazing. Your workshop is going to just really open some eyes. I can see that, and it must give you a lot of joy to see the transformation in your classroom.
You know, for decades, I had been in an office. I was a psychiatrist. I prescribed more prescriptions than I care to remember. And even though I love medicine, it really started to burn me out because I just felt like I didn't go to medical school and residency and college and do all that training to sit here and write prescriptions all day. I really need to find something for me that would be more fulfilling. And then I guess the universe sent me the visions, and that did it. So it really is gratifying. My wife and I have a great time doing it, and we really love interacting with the public. And also the public gets to see that there's another world out there that you're not going to hear about on TV, but nevertheless it exists. And it's the same.
Right. Well, maybe we're getting a lot of new television going, so maybe the Dr. Mitchell Gibson television show is in your future. But for now, I know. I do have one more question for you, Dr. Gibson, and I really appreciate your time today. But your message is out all over the globe. What is it, do you think, that people are really responding to?
I think for the most part, people are responding to the fact that they have both a divine side and a human side to who they are. That they're not just beings who are born, suffer, and die. They recognize that there is a part of all of us that transcends death and is immortal. They like learning that. They like seeing evidence for that when we use the equipment. We have an EEG program called NeuroSky, which actually shows you not only your brain function, but it also shows you what the different levels of your brain are doing, your subconscious, your unconscious, your conscious mind. And you can see your brain respond to invocations, to mantras, to spiritual objects in ways that most people have never even thought possible. So they see that there's something to their consciousness that goes way beyond just what they're thinking. And it really is gratifying to see people light up and cry in that respect.
Well, Dr. Gibson, I am honored to have had some of your time today sharing your work with our listeners. And your workshop is a do not miss. And I'm going to speak with Joan just a little bit more about the information, the contact information to get tickets. But I look forward to seeing you in Houston, Texas. And thank you so much for your time today.
So much for having me on your show. Thank you so much.
All right there. Well, if you're just joining us, we are interviewing Dr. Mitchell Gibson and Joan Jefferson. I'm Teresa Maron, and this is Joyful Journeys. So, Joan, let's share with our listeners just a couple of things. For one, is breakfast is at 8:15 that day, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to start, and there will be you actually would need to be there at 8:15 because there's going to be a registration process, which will be brief, and then breakfast will be served. Dr. Gibson starts all his seminars promptly on time, so we don't want people coming in late because I don't want you to miss anything. And it will be set up classroom style, so it's going to be an event that is going to. He's already said everything that needs to be said, but it's really life-changing, and I'm just excited, and I want people to get there, get fed, and be ready, to receive what's being given that particular day. And it is only about a week away because it is 1 week from tomorrow, which is Saturday, February 23rd.
Right, and but Dr. Gibson starts at 9?
He will start at 9.
And then he goes until 4.
About 4 o'clock,
About 4 o'clock. All right, wonderful. The hotel is called the Sheraton Suites.
The Sheraton Suites Galleria. Mm-hmm. That's 2400 West Loop South.
Oh, good. Good to know. That is perfect. And I am really inspired and impressed by your commitment to bring this man to Houston, Texas. It's a worthy goal, and thank you so much for stepping up to do something of this magnitude for the Houstonians and all the people who are, if there's people coming here from Spain, then it certainly is a great honor to just be able to roll on over there and meet with a master teacher of this caliber.
We have people coming from California, Virginia, Washington, all over. And so, we've my company, we've tried very, very hard to, express how important the seminar is and how important it is to each individual. Really to come into a different awareness of and to grow spiritually, and it's going to be fantastic. I just don't really have the right words for it, but I'm excited, and I know that everybody that will come and entertain this will absolutely not regret it.
Well, I'm just going to give the ticket information one more time. It's dragonflystrategy.com/tickets. And you can also get your tickets or the link to the tickets on Dr. Mitchell's Facebook page, which is Dr. Mitchell Gibson Live in Houston. And Joan, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you, Teresa. Okay.
Well, I will see you next Saturday.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you. And you've been listening to Joyful Journeys. I'm Teresa Maron. Dr. Mitchell Gibson is live in Houston, Texas next Saturday, February 23rd, 2013, open your eyes, open your mind, and be there. Dragonflystrategy.com.